You're probably wondering how on earth this guy
Come on, Jack!
beat the shit out of this guy and became the UFC middleweight champion of the world. Well, you're not alone. The style bender himself and discuss what's next for Tarzan, who's taken the UFC by storm. In addition, we'll talk about how Sean Strickland weaponized the art of trash talk and personality to become fans' favorite.
Oh man, I made the champion man with his fucking frosted tips and his gay little watch. Oh no!
How he went from growing up in a bad household, constantly being abused by an alcoholic father.
My father, abusive alcoholic, drank, got in pills later on. Everything about him I hated.
To climbing up to the top of the UFC's food chain. Stay with us because you're about to hear how on earth is Sean Strickland the UFC champion.
MMA Fighter Spot, man, that channel is fucking great.
Sean had a tough upbringing. He faced a lot of challenges and often found himself in trouble, largely because of the difficult environment at home. His father was not just tough on him mentally, but also physically, making life hard for Sean. This affected his behavior at school, and he ended up getting kicked out multiple times.
People like my dad, who you can give them $1 million, $1 billion, and every day here they're gonna wake up miserable, vindictive, fucking shady. Doesn't matter what circumstance they're in, they're a miserable fuck.
In 9th grade, after a particularly troubling incident that got him expelled, Sean's mom took a proactive step. She thought getting him into an MMA gym could help him channel his anger and energy in a better way. Growing up in a tough environment left its mark on Sean. He went down a regrettable path, even embracing neo-Nazi beliefs during his youth. It was a dark time, and a movie called American History X further fueled those misguided beliefs.
Like, I was so angry. It's funny, I actually went through like this weird like neo-Nazi white supremacist phase when I was younger. I got kicked out of school for like hate crime, like all this crazy shit.
However, life took a turn for the better. Sean's journey shifted when he began training in MMA in 2005. This sport became more than just a physical outlet. It became a lifeline. Meeting people from different backgrounds and races through MMA helped him change his perspective and distance himself from past beliefs. In the end, MMA didn't just change Sean's life, it saved it.
If it wasn't UFC, I'd probably be cooking meth in a trailer in prison, so I'm grateful to the fans, to the UFC. You guys have gave me purpose, and I appreciate that.
Sean Strickland talks in a funny and sometimes rude way, and people either like it or don't.
That white trash motherfucker, get him out of here. But now, since I'm getting a little bit more like, fan base, people want to watch me fight, I can say a lot more offensive shit, so it's nice.
In his best trash talk, he uses dark jokes and honesty and doesn't mind going too far. He's not afraid to talk about touchy stuff, and it makes him stand out in the MMA.
Some good, wholesome shit, man. Americans, we need to go back to like taking women out of the workforce. And maybe that's where we fucked up, you guys. We let women vote. No offense.
He found an ally in Nina Drama, a charismatic reporter who doesn't shy away from asking controversial questions and encourages Sean to be who he is.
Fighting is like having sex with a woman?
Yes.
Does that mean that Alex f***ed you?
Oh, this bitch.
For example, she lured him into making jokes about fat shaming, saying it's okay. He likes pushing boundaries, even in interviews, to get a reaction.
Hey, if the person you're fat shaming is someone you love.
I think fat shaming is always okay. There's nothing worse than being next to a fat, smelly motherfucker. And the most human thing you could do is telling a fat, smelly motherfucker to put down the fork.
Once he talked about Israel Adesanya and anime, saying,
Tough motherfucker, besides the anime, the guy probably jerks off the cartoons. I hold that against you. I guarantee you, Izzy, you have jerked off the cartoons once in your life. Don't fucking lie to me.
It shows he's not your typical fighter. He's got humor.
Izzy, I'll come over to you. We can watch anime. You can put some fucking testosterone on my ass. I'll do it with you. Let's fucking go.
When he talks about opponents, he doesn't hold back. He once gave the recipe for bravery and how to become more courageous.
You just need to get hit by your dads a little bit more. Not even hit, not discipline. You guys don't need to be like, I didn't take out the trash, hit. You guys need to get like an alcoholic rage beating, and then you'll start fucking learning how to have, nuts.
His bold style is his thing, in and out of the fighting ring. The proud American doesn't hold anything back when it comes to political issues as well. He jokingly criticized China for using kids as a workforce by asking how he can say that in Chinese.
I'd like to learn some Chinese.
Let's do it.
Ni hao.
Meow. I feel like I should already start. How do I say work harder, child?
Speaking of China, Strickland used every opportunity to mock Adesanya about his Chinese past as
Black outside, China inside. I am Chinese. I'm the Black Dragon.
well as pointing him out as an LGBTQ figure.
I am more Australian than fucking Izzy. Izzy is a Chinese man. I ride motorcycles. I sell boats. I like sex with hot women. Izzy likes sex with dudes. Nothing wrong with that, Izzy. It's personal preference. I'm sure Smo might be into it.
As you can see, Sean Strickland is wild and hilarious. And with Conor hiding behind his Twitter account and Chael Sonnen retired, might be looking at the best trash talker in the UFC today. Sean's MMA world, let's say that. Back in 2018, he wowed everyone with a very simple yet effective 1-2 combo against Nordini Taleb. That victory set off a fantastic winning streak of 6 fights where he triumphed over fighters like Brendan Allen,
Trying to end it, and he does.
Uriah Hall, and Jack Hermanson. However, a tough loss to Alex Pereira made many doubt his capabilities, but Strickland didn't let that setback define him. He bravely accepted a fight on short notice against Ayman. Then, July 1st, 2023, he showcased his skills and dominated Magomedov, ultimately winning by referee stoppage.
Beautiful performance. That's
What makes Strickland stand out is his unique fighting style. Picture a boxing style akin to Mayweather with exceptional defense, making it incredibly hard to land a hit on him. He sticks to the basics, jabs and 1-2s, gradually wearing down opponents with his relentless punches. Even though he might not possess one-punch knockout power, his persistent attacks have brought down some of the best contenders. In the world of MMA, Sean Strickland is indeed a rare unicorn. His path to the title wasn't a walk in the park, but he showcased his mettle as a fighter with a unique personality and fighting style that keeps fans thoroughly captivated. Since Dricus du Plessis had a little injury September 10th, 2023, the UFC turned to the one and only Strickland to set up and take on the mighty Israel Adesanya for the UFC middleweight belt.
Yeah, thank you, Izzy. Thank you for the paycheck, sir. I can't wait to fight you.
Adesanya is like the Michael Jordan of UFC striking, a real legend. Going toe-to-toe with him standing up is like challenging a rocket to a race. Sean knew he had to crack the striking code. Sean Strickland had just a couple of months since his last match. It's like trying to cram for an exam at the last minute. Meanwhile, Adesanya was like the king of the castle, conquering the Division I knockout at a time. Strickland, on the other hand, was the ultimate underdog, the Rocky Balboa of this tale. Maybe Sean should have hit the mats a bit more, learned from his previous tangle. But hey, he's as stubborn as a cat with tape on its paw.
Who's the best striker on stage?
I mean, I would say me, but I mean, that man was the one that slept that man, so.
Stand and swing, let's dance, Adesanya. He figured that the best way to neutralize Izzy's striking was if he constantly kept him on his back foot, not giving him space to breathe, much less implementing his crafty striking combos for himself. In a twist that had us all on the edge of our seats, Sean launched a perfect 1-2 punch in the first round, dropping Dizzy on the mat for a split second. He kept on pounding like a drummer in a rock band. The following rounds were a nail-biter. Sean kept his foot on the gas, pushing Adesanya back with his punches. The judges gave Sean the nod for those rounds. Izzy had his moment in the fourth, but the fifth, it was all Sean Strickland, tagging Izzy like a fan in a mosh pit. In the final moments of the fight, Sean Strickland was basically challenging Izzy to a playground brawl, but you know what? It didn't matter. Sean Strickland pulled off the ultimate upset, beating the untouchable Adesanya and showing the world that in the UFC, the underdog can be the top dog. A reminder that in this crazy octagon of surprises, anyone can rise to the occasion and make history. After beating one of the most dominant UFC champions of all time to becoming the king of the savannah, it leads to the question, what's next for Sean Strickland? Although some fans would argue that Izzy deserves an immediate rematch, that's something that most would disagree with.
Traditionally, we see dominant champions get an immediate rematch, right? But Israel just had one of those with the Pereira fights. So do you kind of, I know this is a Tuesday question, but do you sort of think, well, let's just book it again because Israel looked so off? Or do you just sort of see how the division plays out and leave Israel on the side for a moment?
No, I think you do the rematch, absolutely. I mean, the rematch is interesting.
Adesanya already got his immediate rematch against Pereira, and the fight against Strickland was not even close. Some would say that a rematch against Jared Cannonier makes sense, but let's not forget that he's 2-1 in his last 3 fights. Maybe Robert Whittaker, or how about the guy who absolutely demolished Whittaker and claimed the #1 contender spot? Dricus du Plessis, the South African, has taken the UFC by storm, running over opponents he faces like a tank over a car. He's 6-0 in the UFC, finishing 5 of them by brutal stoppages. Stylistically speaking, this fight will be very exciting, and it makes the most sense to make it a brutal finisher versus a volume puncher in a fight for the UFC middleweight title on the line. But what do you guys think? Do you believe Du Plessis deserves a title shot next? Or who would you like to see Strickland fighting against? That's all for today's video about Sean Strickland. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more content like this, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Almost there. Remember, every subscription gets us one step closer. Thanks.